I'm County Commissioner Tim Bubb. We're conversing with Bill Weaver and talking a little bit about his history and the history of Licking County in various aspects. And we've talked earlier about your career as the administrator at Toboso Elementary School, the principal, and that you really got your faculty and the students and the parents and the friends of the school involved in the history of the Black Hand and really the gorge. The Licking River cuts through the Black Hand Gorge on its way down to Zanesville, I guess. And we'll talk a little bit about Black Hand Gorge for people who are new to the community, who don't know even what we're talking about. This is east of Newark, in the Hanover region, the Toboso, T-O-B-O-S-O, as they used to say. And but talk about your involvement in Black Hand. What is it?
It's a black hand.
Yeah.
Twice the size of a human hand, carved into the size of Council Rock. And when I got there, I didn't know anything about any of that, but I had good help from a science teacher, high school science teacher. And what I came to know is that black hand was a product of Native Americans from about 2,000 years ago.
Indigenous peoples, 1,000 years ago, inhabiting the Licking Valley region, the Toboso region, the gorge, and they left their mark there.
Big time.
What is Council Rock? Tell people what Council Rock is.
There are two huge rocks
Big rocks,
one after the other. You could climb up there on top. You could see this amazing view out there. And then you could realize that this Council Rock was Native American people who would go up there and carve flint arrowheads.
Sure.
How did I know that?
Work parties.
I'm showing kids as they are walking behind me and said, kids, I want you to see what a flint looks like. And so let's just pick up, I'll show you about 4 or 5 here, just boom, boom, boom. And what you need to do is pick these up on your way up the hill. And so I would do the same. So one time I'm doing that with a group of kids. This is after I'm teaching kids to guide tours for other kids. Talk about
education.
Exactly.
This is education.
They're guiding 15 students from Granville, from all over the place.
This was your classroom.
That's what I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
no, it's I think sometimes we live in the present and in the present headlines, and we don't realize that 1,000 years ago, very smart civilizations lived here.
Yeah.
They fed themselves. They resided here. They loved this area. They loved the Licking River region.
Yes.
And the one thing that you did, and I've been on these tours with you down there, walking through there, and your hands are going like this, and you're talking. It just almost seemed like you were able. I don't know whether it's reincarnation or whatever. It seemed like you were almost able to see and communicate what happened here 1,000 years ago. You could almost feel the people that were there.
2,000 years ago.
Do you feel that?
Oh yeah, yeah. One of the times I'm going up there, showing the kids, and it did two things. One, I'm teaching the kids that are going to guide tours, 6th graders, going to guide tours, and what that did was slow the other kids they're doing. They're going to do what I'm doing with them, because now they're going slowly, carefully to get to the top, which is kind of a, do I want kids up there? The answer was yes. And
you didn't lose any of them.
Didn't lose them one. But what we found and I found one day going up there, I literally reach over, and these little pieces are just as big as your finger.
Yeah, flint.
It's flint. And I pick up an arrowhead. That arrowhead was a 5-pointed arrowhead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Perfect.
Not quite perfect. The bottom one was broken, but I had got something I used every time I ever went up there.
Did you?
Yeah, because people then got the idea.
Show and tell.
There were Indians up here.
You know, in today's world, we talk about intel and chips and that sort of thing. What you have to remember is a long time ago, people from all over North America came to Licking County, came to Flint Ridge, came to the Gorge. They worked in parties all over this county, making their implements to live. They camped here, they lived here. There were civilizations that occupied the Licking Valley that we can only dream about. But I always just thought you had a sense of what those people looked like and what they did here.
I did, and Flint Ridge was only 6 miles
Yes.
away.
Yeah.
And so these people, as big a pace that it was to hammer away chunks of flint, would take them up there, Arrowhead.
Mm-hmm.
And I had one of those.
Yeah. Now, Toboso itself and that region also, maybe people don't realize it as a stone quarry and also as a corridor for mass transit with the interurban and the trains through there. That whole region was sort of funneled through the Black Hand Gorge, and that's always been a hotbed of activity.
I've always said every kind of transportation in the state of Ohio went through Black Hand Gorge.
From canoes to interurbans to trains.
Sometimes people, when I say that, say, yeah, not planes. I said, oh yeah.
Yeah.
We had the gathering of people from the state of Ohio to come in for a big thing we did at Black Hand. And by golly, when I was waiting, I'm the, the main guy to introduce everybody and everything. It was getting so close to the time that it was going to start. Then I hear this.
Sounds like a helicopter.
And it was right there at Toboso.
Yeah.
And he came off and did a great presentation. And yeah, we had airplanes there.
The foundation of a lot of buildings in this area is stone that was quarried there.
Absolutely.
That was a huge business. The Everett Company and others were down there. And so, for people to go down there now, it's sort of a beautiful state nature preserve, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
And did you help make that happen?
What do you think?
Probably.
Of course. Well, here's what occurred. It was the most historic, beautiful place in Licking County.
Yes.
Okay. And so as things were going along, this idea of a state nature preserve came about. And so I called the state of Ohio, who were owning
Department of Natural Resources.
exactly,
Yep.
and said, what? They called me
Mm-hmm.
because we want to make this a state nature preserve.
Mm-hmm.
Bring it on. So they come down, we work together, and the next thing we know, we were a state nature preserve, the 4th one in Ohio.
Yeah. Beautiful bike path down through there that has been or is being restored. It's a place you can go, and it's not a park per se, it's a nature preserve, and it's exactly that. But the heart of it all is that little thing called the beautiful Licking River that runs through there. And that view from Council Rock, looking back up river, boy, in the morning with the sun coming up over that, I can't imagine a more beautiful place. I really can't.
So do thousands of other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
It's the most historic, beautiful place in, I'd say Licking County, but a broader area than that.
Yeah, there's no question. And if you live here in this community or in Central Ohio and you haven't seen it, you're missing something. Let's talk about the tunnel. The tunnel down there is sort of an interesting kind of thing where'd that come from? I assume they had to blast through the rock to get the trains through there, right?
To get the trolleys through.
The trolleys, yeah. But there's a tunnel right through the rock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the interurbans had their time from Newark to Zanesville, and then
To Columbus.
Yeah, that's how we move people.
The CN and Z.
Mm-hmm.
Close to Newark, Zanesville.
Electric trains.
Yeah. People
Yeah.
getting on and off of there.
Yeah, there's so much history at Black Hand, and your friend Mr. Kearns has written the book on that. Two books.
Aaron Kearns.
Aaron. Yeah, I'd recommend them highly through the library, or even copies of them are available. But he's certainly written one of the little definitive histories on the gorge.
Definitely. He came into my office one time and said, "My name's Aaron Kearns, and I'd like to do a book on Black Hand Gorge. Do you have any? Do you have any pictures?"
And you started pulling out boxes.
No. Here's what I did. Here are some pictures.
That's what he needed to get started.
We became very close friends for a long, long time, and still are.
Oh, a great guy, and I would recommend his volumes entirely. But also the fact that you've taken so many people down there, and you've never gotten tired of it, because I think almost every time someone's asked you, whether it's Rick Platt or 1,000 other people in this community, to join them at the gorge and tell the story, you've been there for them.
You know what I did just a few weeks ago? I sat down and tried to figure how many tours have I done of this place, and I came up with very close to 50, because I'm ready to do the 51st.
Really?
When it gets warm.
Wow. Well, I'll probably be there.
Let's do it.
You're going to have to put up with me again. We're talking to Bill Weaver about part of his life, and it's his neighborhood. The history of the Toboso, the Black Hand Gorge, and that whole corridor through there that, as a state nature preserve, it's one of the most beautiful places in Licking County. And Bill has been the voice of the gorge and the Black Hand for that past half century. And because of you, an awful lot of people know about it. So it's pretty cool, really. I'm County Commissioner Tim Bubb. We're talking to Bill Weaver today.